For many people, religion, more than any other cultural trait, defines who they are and how they understand the world around them. Because religion is tied to all aspects of human culture and social systems, studying the geography of religion can help us understand everything from population growth to international politics to the design and structure of cities. There are many things that religions around the world have in common. First, they all embody teachings that imply some kind of value system. Second, they may consider some things sacred, whether that's a single divine being or a set of texts, or maybe even a powerful symbol or powerful location. Many religions may have a creation story or include teachings on things like laws, politics, sexual relations, physical fitness, cleanliness, eating habits, and so on. Let's start by talking about some of the religions you should be familiar with. Let's first start by talking about the four largest religions. Together, they account for around 77% of the world's people, with Christianity accounting for 2.2 billion people, Islam counting for 1.6 billion Muslim people, Hinduism, which is 1 billion, and Buddhism, which is 500 million. Folk religions account for about 6% of the world's population. This includes Chinese traditional religions, Permian indigenous religions, or African traditional religions. Other religions may make up the other 1% of the world population, and these include some religions like Judaism, Sikhism, a lot of people refer to that as Sikhism, and others. And so much of the reason that here in the States we learn a lot about Judaism and Sikhism is because they make up larger regional populations here in different parts of the States. For example, there are large Jewish populations concentrated in the Northeast and large Sikh populations concentrated in different regions of Northern California and Central California, as well as the Northeast as well. 16% of the world's population is categorized as unaffiliated, and underneath unaffiliated is actually two subcategories, atheism and agnosticism. So with atheism, that's the belief that God does not exist. Agnosticism, on the other hand, is the belief that the existence of God can't be proven, so it's possible that God exists, but that would not dictate one's life. You'll want to be able to classify religions. We can classify religions as either being universalizing or ethnic. Religions that seek to unite are called universalizing religions. They attempt to be global to appeal to all people, wherever they may live in the world, not just in those of one culture or location. And so the religions that are best classified as universalizing include Christianity, Islam, and Buddhism. Next, ethnic religions tend to appeal to smaller groups of people with common heritage or to large groups of people that live in a single region. So the attempt is to primarily attract one group of people living in one space. So in this sense, an ethnic religion would be more suited to Hinduism, Judaism, or other folk religions. Geographers try to make this distinction because both have very different spatial characteristics. So if we're looking at origin, diffusion, or distribution, but there is no clear line that can be drawn that can define both because some religions may actually have attributes of both. Let's go ahead and take a look at the general distribution of where we may find some of these religions. So taking a look at Christianity, that is commonly found in every country in the Western Hemisphere. So think of the Americas, Sub-Saharan Africa, and Europe. When we look at Buddhism, we can find that mainly in countries throughout Asia. Hinduism, same thing. We're looking at South Asia, and then particularly when we talk about India, that's why it's mainly associated with it being an ethnic religion. And then when we look at Islam, we find that that is most commonly found throughout Central Asia. And then for Judaism, that is confined to the state of Israel, but you can also find many people of Jewish descent that are within the United States. Many people who are unaffiliated can be found in East Asia, particularly China, and 27% of people don't live where their religion is the major one. So, for example, 3% of Hindus don't live in India, 13% of Christians don't live in the regions where it's most common, 27% of Muslims live in regions where the majority religion is different, and so on and so forth. So you can see that there is uneven distribution. This is a quick map that shows what the majority religion is in different regions of the world. Keep in mind, it doesn't mean that people who practice other religions don't reside there. It's just representative of the majority religion there. So you can see Christianity would be in this purple color, Islam would be in this green color, and this spatial distribution really does speak to it being a universalizing religion. When we look at the orange, we can see Hinduism, and it's much more confined and regional. And then we can also see Buddhism and non-religious colors here. And we may also see indigenous religions as well. Next, we're going to be talking about how religions might be divided or how they might be organized. So first, let's look at what a congregation is. A congregation is pretty much local. So it is an assembly of people that are brought together for common religious worship. So an example of this might be a church or a temple or a mosque that would indicate a local group of people and their adherence to a religion. Next, we have a denomination, and a denomination is most commonly associated with Protestantism. And so this denomination unites a number of local congregations in a single legal and administrative body. Divisions that unite congregations are within the same branch, yet they do have different ideas. Common denominations under Protestantism would include Baptists, Lutherans, Methodists, or Presbyterians. A branch, on the other hand, is more of a split within a religion in which there might be a very large fundamental division between those. And so the main division has to do with their beliefs. And so it may be traditions, practices, but we can look at the difference between, let's say, under Christianity, Orthodox, Catholic, and Protestant branches. Another recognized division is between Sunnis and Shias or Shiites, which are the two main branches of Islam. If you take a look at this map here, you'll see how Christianity's branches are demonstrated spatially here in the United States. Spend some time looking at the colors in the key and the colors that they are associated with on the map. You'll see that members of the Church of Latter-day Saints, also known as Mormons, are clustered in Utah. Taking a look at the map again, you'll see Baptists are concentrated in the south. You will see Catholics that are concentrated on the west and along the southern border, but you also see them very much so in the northeast. You will also see that Methodists are more concentrated in the Midwest. And so again, these religions, or in this case, we're looking at Christianity being the dominant religion here in the United States, but there being spatial association with the different denominations or branches if you want to take them up bigger. You'll also see that Jews are more likely to be clustered in the Northeast, and you'll also find that Buddhists are more likely to be clustered more so along the West Coast. And this has to do with migration patterns as well. Providing a little more context to Christianity and its distribution in the world, it is the most widespread religion, although it's not the fastest growing. Islam is technically the fastest growing religion. In Christianity, it is regarded as a monotheistic religion, and its origins are rooted in Judaism. Christians believe in one God and that his son Jesus was the promised Messiah. They also believe that God and Jesus are one and the same. And so when we look at the deliverance of salvation to all people, that is also unique to Christianity and not just the chosen people of Israel, which is what Jews believe. Although Christianity is practiced very widely in different parts of the world, it takes on very significant differences. These differences can be distinguished from region to region or place to place. Roman Catholicism, for example, is most important in large parts of Western Europe and Northern America, and it's overwhelmingly dominant in Central and South America as well. In 1517, the Protestant tradition began when Martin Luther broke away from the Catholic Church and began a different type of Christian church, which had a similar belief system to Catholicism, but with less emphasis on the many rituals that were characteristics of the Catholic Church at the time. Orthodox Christianity, which is also known as Eastern Orthodox, is dominant only in Eastern Europe and Russia. Getting into some information on Islam. Islam is the second largest religion in the world. It is a universalizing religion. It's also the fastest growing, and it claims over 1 billion members worldwide. Although its distribution is centered in North Africa and the Middle East, Muslims are practitioners of Islam. So don't get that mixed up. A lot of people will refer to it as a Muslim religion. That is not correct. The religion is known as Islam, and the followers are known as Muslims. So again, other than being found in the Middle East and North Africa, many are found throughout the world, including Europe, Southeast Asia, and the United States. Islam is a monotheistic religion, and it also stems from Judaism, as Christianity does, which is based on the belief that there is one God, Allah, and that Muhammad was Allah's prophet. So that's also a misconception. Many people believe that Muhammad is also God, but Muhammad is the greatest messenger, not God. It is also important to note that Allah is a general term for God in Arabic, and even Christian Arabs will use this term as well. Mecca, Saudi Arabia, is the birthplace of Muhammad and serves as the base for the nation of Islam. Observance of the Quran, or Word of Allah revealed to Muhammad, along with the observation of the 5 pillars of the faith, unite Muslims across the globe. These 5 pillars consist of repeated recital of the basic creed, prayers 5 times daily facing Mecca, the observance of Ramadan, which is a month of daytime fasting, almsgiving, and if possible, a pilgrimage or journey to the holy city of Mecca. Both Christianity and Islam have spread through relocation diffusion of missionaries and followers, as well as hierarchical diffusion. Buddhism originated in the 6th century in northern India, and it traces its origins to many traditions of Hinduism. It was founded by Siddhartha Gautama, or simply the Buddha. Buddhism teaches that suffering originates from our attachment to life and to our worldly possessions. Many would actually regard it as less of a religion and more of a philosophy of way of life. According to Buddhism, a state of nirvana, or ultimate purification and happiness, can be achieved through the process known as the Eightfold Path. The Eightfold Path is a way of life and can be found on the right side within the image. So it's a way of being right with your understanding, your thought, speech, action, livelihood, effort, mindfulness, and concentration. Although Buddhism is still centered in its ancient East Asian hearth, it has gained an increasingly large following in Europe and North America since the 1950s. This pattern can be attributed in part to the emigration by Asian people to the Western nations, and in part to Buddhism's teachings, which seem to resonate with many Westerners. Nearly half of the Buddhists in the United States live in Southern California. Moving into Hinduism, it's important to note that it is not a universalizing religion, but rather an ethnic religion, and it's closely tied to Indian culture. For over 4,000 years, people living on the Indian subcontinent have developed a cohesive and unique society that integrates their spiritual beliefs with their daily practices and official institutions. One important aspect of the Hindu culture is the caste system, which gives every Indian a particular place in the social hierarchy from birth. Individuals may improve the position they inherit in the caste system in their next life through their actions or karma. While we're finishing up, I also want to mention Judaism as another ethnic religion. And so Judaism has a sense of ethnic identity, and its adherents tend to form tight-knit communities wherever they live. In 1948, in the aftermath of the Holocaust and about 2,000 years of existing as ethnic minorities in Christian and Muslim dominated countries, the Jewish people finally established their own state in Israel. This has created conflict, which is recognized today as you're learning about the Israeli-Palestinian conflict. We will be talking more about that later, but today most Jews live in either Israel or the United States.